Hey, we're doing another voiceover video, another little commentary. Ooh, I just got a random spur of the moment idea at 12 a.m. after a very long day of carting, which is just grabbing carts and bringing them back to the cart station for a grocery store. I know, I'm humbled. I'm mostly doing this because of the other video that I'm making is taking forever right now. I don't really want to talk about it because it's a lot of work, but I hopefully will get it out before Deadpool Wolverine, probably in the next 2 weeks. One night I'm probably going to lock in and finish it, but I'm taking my time with it because I want it to be a pretty good video. But today I have something that I want to discuss, something I brought up on my TikTok the other night, where I discussed the idea of why Superman, the movie that's coming out, being directed by James Gunn, coming out next year, is probably one of the most important superhero movies of all time. Bold statement, I know. I come up with a lot of those. I come up with a lot of things, say a lot of things that make people a little angry. But I'm speaking from the heart when I say this. That I firmly believe that this movie is the most important movie to ever come out from any superhero company that is currently making media for it. Superman as a brand itself is mostly a symbol of hope, and that's something that I always try to bring up with people when they discuss characters like Homelander, Zack Snyder's Superman, and Injustice Superman, and Omni-Man, where where they represent the exact opposite of what Superman really is. I don't think there's ever really been a very good interpretation of Superman other than the Christopher Donner version of Superman. Christopher Reeves, Chris Donner, I forget what that's called, but you know what I mean. Those old Superman movies are probably the best interpretation of what Superman is, which is just a character who's like a normal dude who grows up to be a symbol for hope and just wants to help people. I don't know, I find that pretty cool if you ask me. And I feel like at the end of the day, people really don't understand that about Superman. And when it comes to writing Superman for Superman movies, he always comes off being very stiff. He doesn't feel like Superman, because it's hard to write a character who, in many senses, is essentially a god. He can do anything. He's a Man of Steel. I mean, that's one thing. He can't really die very easily, except for that one time. But Superman is just essentially invincible. But that's what he is. He's invincible. And that's hard to write for some writers. But I think the thing that makes me so hopeful for this movie, and why I think it's so important, is the fact that the two stories that I believe that are the basis of this movie, not only, I guess, Justice League International could be roped in that, but I think one of the other stories that I think is being roped in and being tangled together into one fine story is Kingdom Come and All-Star Superman. Two of the most fundamental Superman stories where Superman has to stand for hope in both of them. Also, Superman is dying and has to give his life for the world. Essentially, do everything he has to do before he is gone. And prepare the world for a world without Superman. In Kingdom Come, he has to come out of hiding after a tragedy happens to him. And he has to unite the superhero community once again under his banner of hope and justice and the American way. That's Superman. Those two Supermen tied together are pretty similar. They're both symbols of hope for the respective stories. And I think if we could put that all into one movie, that's pretty much a slam dunk for me. But the thing is, the reason why I say this, why it's so important, why everything like that, comes with the perception of how people interpreted the recent episode of The Boys and the current season of The Boys, compared to how they interpret characters like Superman himself. Now, there's no question that more kids nowadays like Homelander more than they like Superman. There's no question. And that's a little weird, considering that Homelander is a very adult character, but I have seen it. I know it. Trust me, I made a TikTok where I said that the recent episode of Boys just wasn't that good. I think it was probably the worst in the entire series. You can check that video out on my channel as well. But I made a TikTok about it, and the entire comment section was filled with literally 12 to 14-year-olds defending the show's writing. defending the character of Homelander, defending all the little bits and points that I pointed out to be why it's so shitty. Like, literally writing paragraphs upon paragraphs of why the show is a masterpiece for some reason. Look, I will be honest with you, I've always liked the universe of The Boys. I think Gen V is a really good part of the show. It's a really good story within the universe, and I also think Season 3 of The Boys is where the series kind of peaked. For me, at least. But the thing is, why are we giving attention to such negative media, especially when it comes to superheroes? When it's literally making fun of things that are coming out, like Deadpool Wolverine, a movie that I'm sure a lot of people are very, very excited for, which is just going to be another cape shit story, like obviously it is, but the show of The Boys completely shits on that idea of cape shit. Every character, every superhero in that show is either a weirdo pervert or just a straight up asshole. And in the case of Tech Knight, they just threw it all together because that's good writing. In the case of Homelander, I feel like this season has done a lot to make him more human, which is weird. It kind of makes me think that they're trying to make Homelander more likable, so we care about him more, care about his relationship with Ryan, which is fine. I feel like Season 3 didn't really have good characterization behind Homelander. He seemed more like the protagonist of this season compared to last season where he was more of an antagonist, which I guess just makes more sense when I say it out loud, Jesus Christ. But Homelander's character in the season is very odd. He's not a symbol of hope like some people like him to be. He's not a symbol of Sigma media and should be a character that we looked up on. He's an evil dude. And I don't think the writers are writing him to be some sort of like smart allegory of Superman, which maybe they are. I don't know. I wouldn't put them past some of the weirdo writers behind that show. But all in all, the character of Homelander is just the opposite of Superman. And I think a character like Superman in a Superman movie that looks pretty good, pretty hopeful at this point in time, could change the landscape of comic book media. If a character is written so well in Superman, if Superman does so well and the character is revitalized, symbol of hope for everybody coming up next, every generation after that, then I think it's done its job. It changed the world. Superman did it again. A symbol for hope for everybody. But if it doesn't, we're going to have more series like The Boys, which will just drag on the idea that Superman in real life would always be evil. Their nerd glasses pushing against their nose while they say that. When I think that is just so shitty and some of the worst things to ever come out of this entire drought of Superman media is just the idea that a real-life Superman would just be a bad guy. When I don't think that would be the case at all. And hopefully this movie does well and shows people that we can have hopeful superheroes again. That the world is not so dreary and dreary to the point where we have nihilistic TV shows about superheroes. But maybe that's just me. But I don't know. All in all, I think The Boys is fine. Hopefully it improves over the next 2 episodes. That's insane, that's only 2 episodes left, but whatever. Hopefully they improve over the next 2 episodes, and hopefully Superman, the movie, coming out next year, literally a year from now, can deliver on changing and saving comic book media. But anyway, that's been me. Check me out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe, like, comment. Say what I did wrong in this episode. If you really think that this video sucks, then tell me. If you think I did wrong with it, then tell me. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.